Hello, hello, hello. Okay.
You're a reboot. Nostalgicast. You're unoriginal from real to real. Your plot, it is a retread. All you know how to do is steal. Nostalgicast. I wouldn't watch you if you got the entire cast to return, and the director, and the soundtrack was done by Seal.
Oh, by Seal.
I hate Christmas.
Welcome to Nostalgicast, your weekly roundup of the best and most up-to-date nostalgic news, where we discuss the stories and give our thoughts. How's everybody doing?
Great, how are you?
Good. Fantastic. Anytime you sing, I just get happier.
I am your host, who says God bless us everyone during his Christmas Eve toast, Andrew Price. The ghost of Christmas past, Tyler Palo. The ghost of Christmas present, Kelby Joseph. The ghost of Christmas future, Louis Elvius. And Dad Beats, a.k.a. Daddy Kringle, a.k.a. Kirk Pinchon.
Dad beats.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
No, I mean, neither was Scrooge.
No.
He got woken up in the middle of the night by a fucking ghost, and he was just like, "This is fine."
Yeah,
He's like, I guess
He's
this
like,
is my life
Can
now.
we speed this along?
You know what?
Actually,
You know what would happen
please?
if I woke up in the middle of the night and a fucking ghost of my boss was standing over me?
He'd be like, Chris?
Yeah. First of all, like,
Yeah.
Chris, you died.
You died.
And second of all, oh god, running out of the house. It wouldn't Christmas. I would never learn a lesson.
I think that'd be kind of cool.
I'd be in a fucking insane asylum.
Everybody's all talking about Ghostbusters until they show up, and nobody wants to bust any ghosts.
I'll
Yeah.
bust a
Busting
ghost.
don't make
Yeah,
me feel good.
Kirk. All
Scares
right.
me.
I'll bust a ghost.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's almost the holiday season is upon us.
Yay.
I think we may. I should have decided on this beforehand, but I forgot to. But I think we may skip a week. So we're gonna go on a week hiatus. We won't have an episode next week unless we do. In which case, surprise, motherfuckers!
Recognize.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
Home Alone 2.
This one's all references, guys. We're just gonna sit here and do references.
the one I like the most. Lost in
So
New
for
York.
all intents and purposes, this is our holiday episode.
Damn.
Even though literally nothing about this has anything to do with any holiday.
All right.
Before we get into the stories, I wanted to talk about something. This is once again not strictly nostalgic, but I feel like we talk about things like this a lot, and I also think it's important to talk about, and it's kind of nostalgic related. So there was news recently that the animation studio, moving picture company, that basically they did all of the CGI in Detective Pikachu, and they fixed Sonic. The trailer for Sonic came out, and it was pure nightmare
I got that
fuel. And then it went away, and it came back, and it was like, oh shit, the movie's still gonna suck, but Sonic looks dope.
Still not going to see
Looks
it, but
fucking
hey.
sick.
They were responsible for that. They fixed Sonic. It was recently announced that they're shutting down.
This is the same company that did Lion King too, right?
I don't know. I just saw that I did see that they did Detective Pikachu, which was a very financially successful movie, and they fixed Sonic, and maybe they did that. I don't know. I didn't dig that deep.
I'm gonna look into it because if it is, I have something to say about it.
They're closing their Vancouver studio right before Christmas, affecting about 80 employees. The Vancouver studio, which is the one that did those two projects and maybe Lion King, I don't know, they're shutting down. The company is keeping other studios around the world open. The reason they're closing the Vancouver studio is strictly about money, and specifically about tax incentives. There are so many studios in Vancouver now that the competition for government subsidies is becoming problematic. So Technicolor thinks they can get better margins in other countries, and Vancouver is now too risky to keep open. I think this is a really important thing. I think that a lot of people don't realize this. The way that movie studios treat visual effects studios is fucked up.
Terrible.
And I'll give an example of this. But the way that it works is they project a budget and they say, this is how much it's going to cost. And sometimes it goes under, sometimes it goes out over. And that probably happens more often than not. The movie goes over budget.
Yeah.
But when the movie goes over budget, they find that budget. They say, okay, well, this is taking 4 more weeks than we thought it was going to, or we need to do some pickups or whatever. So we need $4 million more, or we need to do massive reshoots. We need $20 million more. And they find that budget. But for visual effects, the way it works is, I think they technically sort of hire them on contract, and they say
There's a bid.
yeah, there's a bid,
Mhm.
and
It's
they
like,
hire.
it's like construction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very much like construction.
Wow.
So they hire them on contract, and they say basically like there is $30 million in the budget for visual effects. Every dollar that you go over that, you pay out of pocket. So if visual effects studio wins that bid, and the competition is high for this, so everybody wants that bid.
Yeah.
They want to win. If you spend $31 million, you're paying $1 million out of your own pocket, out of the studio's pocket. And this is oftentimes crippling for these small visual effects studios. And an example of this is back in 2013, there was this visual effects studio called Rhythm and Hues. And they did the visual effects for Life of Pi. Rhythm and Hues won the Oscar for best visual effects. They won a fucking Oscar. Like literally a week later, they shut down.
Yep.
And the reason why is because Life of Pi went $4 million over their visual effects budget, and Rhythm and Hues had to pay that out of pocket. And the production company, they worked out a deal with Rhythm and Hues, and they said, you need to front this $4 million, but we are going to we're going to pay it back to you out of the net revenues of the movie. Technically,
Through
most
Hollywood accounting,
movies don't make money
Yeah.
because they finagle things around.
They
and
charge themselves for
Yeah.
advertisement.
and they say, oh, the movie turned no profit. And it's like, it's a way of doing paperwork where they can get themselves out of situations or look good for tax reasons and all these different reasons.
Yeah.
So the movie made no money. So Rhythm and Hues made no money. So it bankrupted them.
They didn't know that. That's how it works. Because I
There-
heard you say it multiple times, and it seems like
The
people
thing
know
It
is-
does
this.
seem like common knowledge. The way you guys
The
are
thing
acting.
is, like, when you're a small company, you're often advised not to work with these larger companies because of reasons like this. Small companies working with other small companies or medium-sized companies, they'll pay. They know the plight of being a small company. However, when you're a small company, just like this one that you're talking about, they want to get this mega contract from Disney. They want to get a mega contract from a production like Life of Pi or something like that because they believe that it's going to transform their company. So actually, they underbid to try and get the contract, and then they'll put themselves out there and say, "Yo, we'll do all this work," pretty much assuming that, like, hopefully this is okay.
It's
like,
a big dice roll.
Yeah,
It's like,
like-
it's
Okay.
like we're taking a very high risk in order for this to pay off for
yeah,
us.
and we need to now get 8 more mega contracts within a very short period of time in order for this to work. And that's why I asked if this was the Lion King one, because their whole issue started with Lion King. You know, there was people who were saying like, "Oh, it's Disney's fault," but it's kind of not really. It sort of is, but it's kind of like a percentage thing because they underbid and they knew what was going to happen, but their idea was, we're going to do such a great job, the movie's going to make so much money, and the whole point of Lion King was the visual aspect of it. So that's why they got Lion King, they got Sonic, and they got another huge movie after that, and it's still just the amount of money that they lost from Lion King just was monumental. It was just too much.
Okay, you said that they're closing down the Vancouver one, but they have places all over the world. That company
There's
or
a larger
what?
company that owns all these studios,
Right.
but for all intents and purposes, each studio is its own thing.
Got you,
It's
okay.
just owned by a larger company.
Okay, but also
It's like I used to work for a company called Super Deluxe, and it was owned by Turner Broadcasting Corporation.
Gotcha.
But
And Turner didn't really give a
Super Deluxe wasn't making any money, and they got shut down.
right. Okay, but if Turner saw Super Deluxe as something that would eventually become something worth
Like a
keeping,
loss
they would
leader?
have put money into it. At
It
a
was a
loss
loss
for now.
leader for a long time, and then eventually it was like, yeah, it was
It's just it's
yeah.
not making that.
Okay, but it looks like they saved the entire movie's VFX. Like, it looks a lot better than the original one did, and that's on the 80 people that did that job. And if it does well, they're going to have that on their resume either way, right? They're going to find other jobs because they're the backbone of that specific company, and people are going to know that. And it's been so publicized that those 80 people get to say, we saved that movie. I know that the company went bankrupt, but those 80 people have it on their resume, no?
maybe. maybe they can find jobs, but the issue with that is
Location too plays a part.
well, location, but also saturation in the job market. There are a lot of visual effects.
There's
people.
only so many jobs to go
Yeah,
around.
visual effects people are kind of a dime a dozen. It's like a couple years ago, there was a huge boom. Well, not a huge boom, but there was a huge boom in tech, and everybody wanted engineers. So if you were a coder, if you're an engineer, you could get a really high paying job, and it would be fairly easy if you were good, because everybody needed them. There was a high demand, and there wasn't enough people. Now, in that 5 years since then, all these things have sprung up. Coding boot camps and things like that. Like everybody's learning to code.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And so now there's all these coders. And so it's like it's a more competitive job market. So you can't, it's harder to find a job and it's harder to find a higher paying job.
Okay, so is the solution not to go into the business, or is the solution becoming the best person in the business, or is the solution taking away these bigger companies' benefits from shutting these places down or not going to certain places?
I mean, I don't know what the solution is, but the in terms of not going into the business versus going into the business, that's really that's a personal thing. Like a lot of these creative jobs, like being a visual effects person or being a screenwriter or being a director or whatever, like these are not jobs that you want to get into just if you want a high paying job. Like you have to have a level of passion for these things. Like most people are not going to be Steven Spielberg and be like incredibly rich from being a director. Like these are not types of jobs that you want to get into if you just want a high paying job. There's other jobs that pay way more, that are way easier to get into and are in locations with a much lower cost of living. If you're just talking about getting paid, like, yeah, don't become a visual effects artist. But that's, a lot of people don't have that luxury. They want to do it because they want to do it.
Right. It does sound like a terrible industry to go into, because from what you guys said, it does
The entertainment
The
industry
entertainment
is a
industry,
terrible
all
industry.
of it is dog shit.
Right. I was talking about this specific thing.
really
It's like
bad.
it just sounds like any VFX kind of place, until they figure out a way to not do it in that way, in like the bidding way, is gonna get fucked over in any way possible.
It would be hard to change that because the studios have the say.
Yeah.
So the
100%.
studios would be the ones who go, maybe we should change our ways. But why should they? Because they're the ones that are taking less risk for it.
Yeah, exactly. And those studios thrive by the studios. Like there's not independent filmmakers going to them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like they're getting these. I mean, they're not small contracts either. They're still making millions and millions.
Sure,
of dollars.
but it's
just
obviously
that
not enough.
It's not enough.
Right.
you
So
know? And
so
it's
I
never
mean,
enough.
and I'm okay with it, because then it goes back. I like practical effects and how they go into movies. But what if they all just banded together and said, we're not going to do it anymore. Just let's make it a real industry, and let's talk about real budgets and understanding how it's going to work, because we're not going to put all of our industry to a detriment just to make sure you guys are making your nut at the end of the year.
Are visual effects artists unionized? I mean, like, because like writers
Union.
I have a union, and it's like very good. Like it's the union is very helpful for writers
The
and
writers' union is
actors.
Director's
Actors,
Guild's supposed to
yeah.
be
God,
great.
everybody just needs a
Directors
union.
The only
Everybody
union
just
that's
get a
now that
union.
great is the producers union.
Because I mean that's one
Get a union.
Do
solution.
they have
It's
a
like,
guild? I think maybe.
yeah, I don't know. I'm
not
not
sure.
I'm not knowledgeable of that market.
I anytime I need them, I freelance them.
You taking bids?
God damn it.
I do.
You are the
Wait a minute, I've done work for you.
I've done work for you.
Oh my god.
We just both got fucking handled.
That's why I won't work for Kelby, man.
God damn it, Kelby.
You guys got paid, eh?
To be fair though, he asked me like, you want to do this job, and I was like, yeah. How much? And I threw out a number, and he was like, we're gonna double that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
I did it
Each
for clout.
time.
yeah. Yeah, so I just want to bring this up. And also back in that time, back in 2013 when this happened, a lot of people in the industry kind of did this, they rallied around this, and everybody changed their Facebook profile to just a green image.
Yeah.
Because they were basically saying, like, without visual effects, then this is all a movie would
so
be.
long ago.
Yeah. That was right after Life of Pi.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to bring that up because it's just really fucked up.
Yeah,
And
That's
it's
super
like
fucked
when you
up,
go
absolutely.
and you see Detective Pikachu or you see these movies and you say like, or when you see Sonic and you're like, yeah, like they should have fucking fixed that, like or whatever. Just think about the fact that like somebody listened to you, like you
Yeah.
said Sonic looked like shit. Somebody listened to you and fixed it, and it fucked them over, and they went out of business.
Now they
Just
live
think
on
about that.
unemployment.
As a protest, I'm not going to see.
That's
That's
the
it.
only reason.
Yeah,
damn it.
fuck them for what
Yeah.
they've done. I was all set, had my tickets. Nope, not doing it now.
Have you seen Wolf of Wall Street?
Oh yeah, I love.
You're
Wolf
part
Wall
of the
Street.
problem.
Come on. Yeah.
Warner Brothers is developing a new Harry Potter film. Original cast will return. That
it's
sounds, on its face, really cool.
Does it?
But when you hear the details, it fucking sucks.
Question for you: Is it about? Is it an adaptation from a book?
Technically.
Okay.
Warner Brothers is looking to adapt the hit West End Broadway musical Harry Potter and the Cursed Child into a film.
Okay.
Production has been a smash hit in London and New York, with lines regularly stretching around the block. Warner Brothers are intending to adapt the story as a film, and they're going to bring back Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson to do it. The news is guaranteed to send Harry Potter fans absolutely bananas, with the project being a true sequel to the hit movies rather than the prequels of the Fantastic Beasts series. As The Cursed Child is a two-part production, it's likely that it will be a two-part film as well, though this hasn't been confirmed just yet. The news might be in reaction to the huge underperformance of the last Fantastic Beasts movie. I accidentally wrote Fantastic Beats movie, and now I want to see Fantastic Beats.
Yeah.
Oh, I did the music for it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You're
Came
the
out
only person-
really
you're the only
good.
person
You
that
and
could've.
Lou.
Yeah.
So
Lou and I collabed.
Yeah.
So-
Collab.
So wait,
Sure.
they're
Dad
making
Beats busy.
they're making a Harry Potter sequel movie, and it's gonna have their entire cast. This sounds fucking awesome.
But is it?
Wait, they're just adapting that play that everybody hates and thinks sucks, and
Did they?
You just said there's
Uh,
lines around the corner.
to go to the
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter fans hate
yeah.
the book.
Okay.
Do they?
My question.
Or hate the play in
my-
the book. Yes, they do.
Logistically, don't you have to buy tickets to these things in advance? Like
Yeah.
you don't just go stand outside Broadway and hope to get in, right?
No, you typically buy it.
Okay, so this whole lines around the corner. They're waiting out there. They're in a line because you won't let them in, assholes. Just fucking let them in.
No, it's
Like-
wait, what?
They're not waiting in line to buy a ticket. They have tickets. Like, there's
Wait a
lines
minute.
around the corner.
Wait a minute.
You
Wait a
know
minute.
how many?
This has nothing to do with anything.
I don't
This is
understand
some
what's
just
going
so
on.
mad.
This is
It's
some
just like-
weird Seinfeld rant.
That's not a Seinfeld rant. Listen to me.
I'll
They're
explain
just
it to you.
making
in
Hold on a
real-
minute.
stand
I'll
outside
explain.
for no reason.
All I'm saying is,
Let him into the theater.
No, I'll explain to
All
you
I'm
in words
getting
what
at-
Tyler's trying to say.
all I'm getting at is like they're like, you said it as like a point of pride for them. There's people waiting around the corner to get in here and watch this movie. It's like,
Let him
or-
in.
Just fucking let him in. It was. God damn.
I
It. I hate you.
I'm so frustrated at what happened just now.
All right, but is it a musical? Is my thing, because the thing is a musical.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
I want to say it is.
I have no idea. My wife has read the book, and obviously the book is not a musical, but I don't know how they would adapt a musical into a book, because the book is just basically the playbill. It's just like the script of the
Yeah.
play.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I mean, if it's a musical, I want them to keep it a musical because I would love to watch that. Maybe I'm thinking about
Harry
that
Potter
spoof
musical?
they did.
I don't think it's a musical.
It's not a musical. Okay, I'm an asshole. Let him in.
But yeah, this is one of those things where it's like, oh, but then like the original cast is returning, but that they just have kind of like cameos. Like they're not.
Yeah,
really,
that's
they're
the
not really
thing.
in
It's
it.
not about their next
Oh,
Yeah, it's
journey.
about the kids.
It's about,
Yeah.
it's about
okay.
Draco Malfoy and Harry Potter's sons.
Yeah.
Lame.
Yeah.
Together.
All right.
Okay.
What's
Oh,
the next
they
story,
date?
Drew?
I'd love that.
Oh, that'd be cool. That would be cool.
That'd be amazing. I'd
Yeah.
watch that.
There's a new Power Rangers movie set in the 90s happening.
like that.
Yeah, I'm
Another
into it.
Power Rangers reboot is now in the works at Paramount.
Is it
with-
musical?
Into the Fucking World creator Jonathan Entwistle in talks to direct. Featuring an all-new story with no relation to the 2017 movie, the screenplay will be penned by Peter Rabbit 2, the runaway scribe Patrick Burleigh. Hasbro is also producing under its Allspark Pictures film banner after buying the rights from Hamsaban last year. And we know about that because we saw that.
Mhm.
Oh wait, no, we didn't. You guys didn't watch the Power Rangers one. I did.
I watched it. You
Well,
mean
we didn't watch it for the podcast.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The upcoming reboot will take the Power Rangers franchise back to its roots by setting the story in the 90s, around the time Mighty Morphin Power Rangers first debuted on television. Reportedly, the story will involve time travel to somehow transport the new kids back to the 90s, leaving them to find a way to return to the present decade. This plot description teases the idea of including characters from the show's early seasons, but it's not clear if the movie will in fact be set in the same universe or if Paramount is just going to for a similar vibe by setting it in the same time frame.
That's Jumanji.
That's Star Trek.
Oh, wait,
Star Trek?
huh?
Yeah, I mean, all of them are. Anytime they go back to the past, they always have to get to the future. But I mean, that's the one where like Leonard Nimoy,
Let him in.
Leonard Nimoy like swims with
Let
the whales.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
they go to like present day Earth.
Oh, it was present day
Yeah.
for the. But they're in
Yeah.
the future in their time.
Yeah, but they went like back in time to like
Gotta get back.
80s
time.
Earth.
And my second point of are they just gonna CGI all the 90s people? If they said like they're gonna connect them in some way, I don't want to go back to the 90s and see old ass Tommy. Like I don't want that.
I mean,
I
first
need a young Tommy.
first of all,
New cast, right?
basically
Yeah.
astonishingly, sometimes you look back at these stars and you're like, oh man,
Right.
literally every one of the original Power Rangers cast looks amazing. They all look the same.
Let
they
them
look,
in.
They,
Really
don't, they
trying
look
to
like they
not
haven't
make a joke
aged
right
a day.
Yeah. And
You could literally put
Okay.
all of them back in, and nobody would bat an eye.
Yeah.
I mean, see a skeleton.
What's the
in
name of
in
the Black Power
Power
Ranger?
Rangers costume. You're gonna
Oh,
bat
no.
it out.
Except
Zach,
except
I
for
think.
her,
Zach?
Okay.
Zach.
fucker.
I'm sorry.
Zach looks great. He finally got like a real good barber and everything. Like,
They all look great except for I think what is her name, like Kelly Trang, something Trang.
don't
She
talk about
died
it. Oh,
in a car accident.
Damn. Well. All right.
Okay, the
Well,
RIP, man.
I think I already know who's gonna be Zordon.
Oh,
They look amazing.
Hey, they do
Yeah,
look
they do.
amazing. But I mean, but
I
also,
don't know about
I
how
don't.
Billy
Those
looks.
aren't the people we'll see in the '90s. We need to see the top people, right?
I think
if
they
they're going-
should
What?
they should put them in as different characters.
Those
Like,
are the OGs.
that'd be cool.
I know they're the OGs, but if they're going back to the time when the OGs were the Power Rangers, we're not. I don't want to see the OGs as old people in the '90s because they're not old people in the '90s. They're the originals in the '90s. So
Ah,
are they gonna make them young like they did everybody else this year? You know what I mean?
I don't
Are they
know.
gonna play old people? Or are they gonna CGI their faces? to
They're
look
in their
young?
40s.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yes, I just-
ageism.
Yeah, super facts.
Yeah, not
Okay.
cool.
Yo,
Are they gonna
I
play
know
40-year-olds
who
then?
should play Zordon.
Is it Bryan Cranston?
No, Kanye.
Oh shit!
That might work.
I'm,
Yeah, right.
I'm here for a Kanye.
Yo, Power
Zordon.
Rangers.
Zordon's calling. Just fucking send him to voicemail.
I
Shit.
can see it.
Lord Zed don't care about hologram people.
I know Jay-Z got shooters out there for me.
Kanye's coming after you. so-
No, he's a
Yo, Rita
He's gonna
Repulsa.
see this.
You dress too sexy. Put some sweatpants on.
That'd be great. I'm excited to watch this. Actually, I love a
Yeah.
good like '90s throwback
Yeah.
movie, but it does sound eerily like Jumanji. I know they're different stories, but
Yeah.
it just made me feel like that.
Most of all, I guess I get kind of tired of these like sort of postmodern storytelling devices. Like it was
It's the
cool a
same.
while ago of like, oh, it's like The Thing, but it's a little meta. And now
Yeah.
it's like, can't we just tell a straightforward story anymore?
By the way,
It's-
Tyler,
What?
in relation to what you just said,
Mhm.
I watched Good Times like live on TV, and the guy who played the dad in Good Times, he came back and he played a different character. So that's why I was saying like in this Power Rangers thing, they could come back and play different characters, and it's kind of like wink, wink, wink.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I was
Yeah.
an old one.
I'm always down for a cameo, but I just mean if they're gonna have him play the Power Rangers, it's not gonna work.
Nah, probably not.
Is
But
even-
yeah,
it doesn't even seem like it's big enough. They're not going to get big stars for it. So is it
No,
even a
no.
big movie?
It's a big movie. It'll make
Uh,
200 million.
Yeah, I mean it's a
dollars
big
for
movie
sure.
in terms of the IP,
Yeah.
the property. It's like the Aladdin movie where the actor who played Aladdin like can't get any work. It's like
Can't get anywhere.
It's not about him. It's about the IP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like
Um,
Timothy Chalamet in
No, no,
Power
no.
Rangers.
Nah, nobody's
I don't think
nobody's
he would ever do that.
Nobody's going into the Power Rangers.
It's gonna be a theater actor.
But I
Like
definitely
somebody
think
to just-
I think you're right, Andrew. There's gonna be like a lot of they're just jumping around in leotards jokes. Like they're gonna make those jokes like, oh, that Power Zord looks like it's just a big toy in a small town replica. They're just gonna say things like that, and I hate that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes that stuff is. Can be
I'm
done well.
tired of it. is
But
what
yeah,
I mean.
I actually do agree with you. I think usually your speculations on things are just like make no sense.
Thanks.
Like when you thought that Barney was gonna be like a dark
I'd love that.
gritty thing.
I told you but they already did that.
A horror
Is what
movie.
I was getting at.
Sounds
But-
creepy.
But I actually agree that that's literally what it is going to be.
Yeah.
The good thing about this is like the Power Rangers reboot thing that happened a couple years ago. Like it was just such one of those movies of like, I don't know, it was just like one of those generic kind of cranked out, almost like it's like the movie version of a CW show.
Yeah, and that shouldn't have happened because there was so much hype behind it.
Is
Yeah.
it?
Oh, that.
Yeah. But this,
Okay.
this is supposed to be being directed by Jonathan Entwistle. And if you guys haven't seen The End of the Fucking World on Netflix, it's great. It's so good.
Every time you say his name, I think of the bassist of the Who.
Why?
Isn't that his name?
I don't know.
Mr. and
He dead anyway. So
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who the
He
bassist
did.
is.
John
He
Entwistle.
did anyway.
I know everybody but
Jeez.
him.
Okay.
Which
I
is
think
funny
that's
because that
him.
was the whole thing was that
We don't
the
respect
Who's
dead
whole
people
thing
on
was
that.
that Pete Townsend and Keith Moon and Roger Daltrey.
John Entwistle. See,
Oh.
he came
Are they
back from the
related?
dead and
Wow.
is now producing Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Yeah, the other three guys, they were super animated, and then he would just stand there
Yeah.
and not move.
That's why he came back from the dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had all that leftover energy. Yeah, so he came back from the dead and he made this really cool show based on a graphic novel, I think. And it's about this.
comic book.
Yes, well, you're right, but we won't get into that. It's about this kid who's like, he's like 14 or something like that. And like, he thinks that he's a psychopath and he like wants to kill people. And he like kills animals and like he thinks that he wants to murder somebody. He's kind of like a young Dexter. But then he meets this girl, they kind of run away together, and then it's sort of this coming of age story about this like young sociopathic, you know, lacking empathy kid who thinks that he wants to be a serial killer, and then him just kind of like learning that that's not true. It's really good.
Okay.
Legends of the Hidden Temple is coming back, and this time it's for adults. So there's gonna be
Yeah.
fucking.
That's the whole show.
They're gonna face fuck that huge statue.
Oh gosh.
Who are you?
We got the Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
cassette
And
radio.
how are you
Yeah,
reading
yeah,
my
this is
mind
crazy.
right now?
I don't know if I can watch that. It's
What
not
network
family-
is it on?
Family friendly.
It's on Skinamax, actually.
Skinamax.
they bought the rights.
Racist.
Skinamax.
The Hidden Temple is not what you think.
Legends of the Hidden Temple is coming back to your screens, courtesy of Quibi. Certain elements from the original show will be back in the reboot, such as Moat Crossing, the Temple Run. This new version of the game will feature adult contestants. Quibi says they are casting superfans to compete on the show. Also, they have to have huge dicks
God damn it.
because they're gonna fuck.
All right.
Also, the show will take place in a real jungle rather than a soundstage.
That's weird.
So they just needed things to throw money at.
While we don't know the exact date, we'll see the return of Legends of the Hidden Temple. It will be exclusively streamed on Quibi, which launches on April 6, 2020.
Okay.
Quibi is a streaming service, which we haven't actually brought up
This
at all.
Quibi is like doing a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what was
it's-
the other thing they're doing?
Like a lot of interesting stuff.
I want to know what their finance rounds look like.
Well, I mean, it's Jeffrey Katzenberg, who's like one of the richest guys ever. So
What's he do?
he used to be the head of DreamWorks
Okay.
and something else.
So
He was
it's
at
out-
Disney, I think, too.
Do we
Yeah,
have- do we
Disney-
know
he
who
was,
that-
He was at Disney and he was like the head of DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
They should call it Sex Temple.
Oh, if they
Fuck
Don't
Temple.
don't
Okay,
throw.
we're giving free ideas out here,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah,
We have a company. We can do that.
we can be making money off of them ideas. And then Lewis didn't say it, but we know we gotta give.
You gotta give Lewis his cut. Because he was in the
I'm
room.
glad you guys know, man.
Originally,
know.
there was a different Jeffrey who was a financer for this show.
Oh boy, that's
And-
it. No,
and
it's
they-
a wrap.
And they weren't
Oh,
they weren't
gosh.
adults previously.
Oh gosh. Okay. All right. We're good.
I don't know what's going on.
No, you don't need to know what's going on. This is bad. We can continue.
it got bad.
It's the holidays, Andrew.
Yeah.
So that was what's next?
There's this vacation TV spinoff, The Griswalds, coming to HBO Max.
No.
All right, go back.
Vacation,
Go
like
back.
the-
I don't give a shit about
Vacation with
The Chevy Chase. one?
Chevy Chase.
National Lampoon. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Clark Griswold and family are heading to the small screen as Warner Media has put into development a comedy series for HBO Max called The Griswolds. Johnny Galecki, who played Rusty Griswold in Christmas Vacation, is executive producing, with the middle scribe Tim Hobart writing the series. As it sounds, the half-hour single-camera sitcom is based on National Lampoon's vacation movies, following the day-to-day lives of the Griswalds when they come home to the Chicago suburbs after their shenanigan-filled vacations.
I would love to watch that.
There have been 5 official vacation movies developed by National Lampoon at this point, with each installment featuring Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo in the roles of Clark and Ellen Griswold. Randy Quaid and Miriam Flynn both show up often in the movie series, as well as their friends and neighbors Eddie and Katherine Johnson. There is also Christmas Vacation 2, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure, which gave Quaid his own spin-off movie, and Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo starred in an official 14-minute Griswold short. The actors playing the Griswold children, Rusty and Audrey, have consistently changed in every movie. At this time, it's not clear if any of these actors will be on board for the Griswolds, or if the series will introduce an entirely new cast. While we've all come to accept the revolving door of actors of Rusty and Audrey, most vacation fans probably won't be too thrilled about Chase and D'Angelo being recast.
You, Kirk?
I'm okay with it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? The first vacation came out when I was a kid, like 82, 83, and I was like, this is great. And then subsequently, all the rest have kind of been crap.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What good one? Don't
Christmas Vacation is
It's
great.
average. It's
Is
not
this Christmas
It's not as
Vacation
bad
where they
as
go to
European,
Vegas?
which is horrible.
European is fine.
No.
Christmas Vacation is great.
Christmas Vacation is
and I love
average
Vegas
at best.
Vacation.
Which
Oh God, Vegas. That's so bad. I forgot about
It's
it.
not even bad.
the Vegas one?
Ugh.
It's good.
No.
Is
And
that the
Christmas
one you're
Vacation
talking
is
about?
great.
Oh,
You're
okay,
insane.
It's
different.
all the same shit
Uh,
for every movie.
I hate them just because my white trash family can't stop calling Walmart Wally World now. And they've done it my entire life, and it makes no fucking sense.
Why do they call Walmart?
Because
Wally
it sounds like Wally World.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's a thing. A lot of people call Walmart Wally World.
Ugh. Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
a
that's
thing.
'cause of
I've
the
heard
twerk
about
video.
that, but I didn't know.
I don't think that has
Have you seen
anything to do
the
with
twerk video?
vacation, though. I
Which
think
one?
that's just
The
a
twerk
separate
video.
thing.
No, what are you talking about?
How-
Yeah, I don't think it has
Yeah,
to
I'll
do with
show
that.
this.
Oh,
There's
I
no
mean-
such thing as Wally World without vacation.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a separate thing.
Well,
I think I don't think it's because of those movies.
that's what my family gave me as an excuse.
It's like people call, they call McDonald's Mickey D's. They call Walgreens Wally G's. They call
They do?
Target Target. It's just one of those things that starts. It's almost like a pre-internet meme.
They call Papa.
I see that it's on HBO Max though.
Yeah.
Is that the streaming service, or is that you have to have their package to
That's
get
the streaming service.
It's-
That's
yeah.
that's their competition for Netflix
The-
and
HBO
It could be
Go
good.
now and Max?
HBO Go is just stuff that airs on HBO in a on-demand form. HBO Max is their streaming service with original programming.
Okay, got
We've
it,
talked
got
about
it.
it several times.
I'm sure it's just it's always been confusing for me.
It could be a good. It could be a good show because the writer is a decent writer.
The exhaustion of like, what wacky hijinks are they going to do now? What pratfall's going to happen again?
yeah, I have no interest in that.
Yeah.
Although I highly disagree that every vacation movie after the first one is bad.
Once
You're right,
I
they're
don't-
all terrible.
I don't want to see
once Anthony Michael Hall left the projects, done.
what.
I don't know.
He's the reason why Vacation's so good.
Dennis
God,
Quaid was the only
that
reason
is not
Vacation was
true
good.
at
and
It's
I
not
don't
true at
like
all.
Dennis
I don't
Quaid.
mean that part at all, but I do mean that the first Vacation was great. The rest are bad.
It's obviously Juliette Lewis.
Oh God, that's right. She was in it too. So many people are in this freaking series.
No. I was actually reminded of this earlier because I think like the narrative on Chevy Chase has been sort of like retroactively altered of just like he's sort of become known as this like notorious fucking asshole.
He was always.
And you kind of like it's like somebody to be hated. But that being said, he was great.
no, he was great.
Fucking great.
Incredibly funny, massive asshole.
He's so good.
The term Wally World comes from a fictional amusement park in the 1983 comedy film National Lampoon's Vacation. The
Okay,
sheer
so yeah,
size
it
and
is
everything
from that.
under the sun mentality of the park on the stage for the Walmart store named to be altered Wally World soon thereafter.
Gotcha.
So it is from it. I just thought it was a separate thing, but
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So it is
Thank
a
you, Todd.
reference to that.
Thank you, Todd.
So earlier, I brought in a bunch of Goosebump books,
Ooh.
and Todd went, "Are those Animorphs?" And I was
Animorphs
like,
was
"We
hot.
had different childhoods."
But
That being said, here's some exciting news. In January, all of the Animorphs audiobooks are coming to Audible. So in January, you can buy the audiobook versions of all of your favorite Animorphs books.
you know what's gonna happen?
They're gonna turn into animals.
Nah, the day it comes out, everyone's gonna post, "Yo, this is sick." That's about it.
Yeah, nobody's gonna get that.
Can I?
Does anything more than that need to happen?
That's true. I'm going to put on my old man pants.
Kirk, no, you're not. You're court mandated to not.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I'm not allowed to do that anymore. Oh, God. I wasn't
Kirk's
allowed
allowed to call himself old, but when I do it, we have
That's
to have
right.
a meeting.
Some people are speculating that this
It's
is
so cool.
this is Scholastic like testing the waters of like
Oh.
if a bunch of people buy these audiobooks, maybe we'll do more books and maybe we'll do a movie. Some people are speculating that
Don't
that's
be excited
here's my
about that,
thing.
Todd.
Mhm.
The first part,
What is
read a
Goosebumps?
book. Don't listen to a book.
Yeah, definitely
Read a book.
Yeah.
Read
sometimes
a
it's
book.
like sometimes like you're on a drive or
Read a book.
there are definitely times when an
Yeah.
audiobook is necessary.
Sure, but let's not lean too heavy on it and become dependent on it.
That's
Let's
facts.
actually read.
I don't think people do.
Second thing, what's Animorphs?
Goosebumps. You know Goosebumps.
Wait, is it the same thing?
No.
No, there's
Animorphs
No,
was
they're
a,
not.
Animorphs was a science. So Goosebumps was the horror series, and Animorphs was the science fiction series.
And you like Animorphs, Todd. And you like Goosebumps.
I like both, but
Oh,
I was
okay.
I like
definitely more of a
both, too.
Goosebumps
Okay.
guy. I mean, I've talked about this several times of like my favorite thing is horror.
Is it R.L. Stein, the guy who did Animorphs?
No, the Goosebumps is R.L. Stein, and Animorphs was like written by different people.
Yeah.
there wasn't a specific author.
Oh my God! Until now, I thought you were talking about Animaniacs. I just got it.
Show him a cover from an Animorphs book.
I swear to God, I was so like, why are they doing books on the anime? Okay,
Mm.
okay.
They're similar in style, I guess you could say.
Oh,
Is there one author?
Catherine Applegate.
Oh, okay. I thought
it was R.L.
I never
Stein.
thought there was like a signature author attached to Animorphs.
based on cover, I think Animorphs looks cooler.
It does look
It does
cool.
look. They have the better
Animorphs-
They have the better
They-
covers.
they-
Did you,
good
you're not a science fiction guy.
I hate
Did you
science
say
fiction,
that?
but
Oh,
just
man.
based on covers.
Animorphs was about a group of kids, and Julia would love this. But it's about a group of kids who can turn into animals.
Yeah.
Oh,
They got the power from an alien, right?
All right.
And the alien is their friend. His name is Owl.
Alamorph.
I would never
The
watch
one
that
that gave him the
movie.
powers died. His brother is Al.
Oh,
and
okay.
that's their friend.
Yeah.
All right. That's better than Animaniacs.
There's a no wait.
How fucking
They don't.
dare you?
There doesn't need to be a competition.
Everything's
is a competition.
Apples and oranges.
Yeah, that's
You
Apples
can
are better.
definitely compare apples and oranges because oranges are better.
In fact,
Apples are
there's a great joke in Animaniacs that you would love.
Is it the?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's a scene where they're being detectives,
Mhm.
and they tell Dot like, "Oh, go dust for fingerprints," and then she leaves, and then she comes back in, and she's carrying prints in her arms, and then they go, "No, I said fingerprints," and she goes, "Nah."
Okay, that's genius.
But the
Ah,
best
that's
part
genius.
is Prince gets excited about it.
Oh yeah.
Prince goes.
He goes,
"Mhm."
right. I'm on board.
Yeah. So
Animaniacs
Animaniacs
is a throwback to classic like Looney Tunes,
Okay.
Merry Melodies stuff.
Learning so much. Today.
But yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
While I read the Goosebump books, I also listened to the audiobooks when I was a kid in some certain situations. And there was a really good version of the Attack of the Mutant. Is that what it's called? Yeah, it's Attack of the Mutant. And it was narrated by Richard Horvitz. He's the voice of Zim from Invader Zim and Daggett from the Angry
Ah.
Beavers.
Cool.
So, keeping this series reboot train running,
Mhm.
there's a Turner and Hooch TV series in the works at Disney Plus.
Yes.
The classic 1989 buddy cop comedy feature Turner and Hooch is getting a TV series treatment for Disney Plus. I have learned that the Disney streaming platform is working on a Turner and Hooch TV series adaptation from Burn Notice creator Matt Nix.
Oh, cool.
So you probably love Burn Notice because you like
I-
things that my mom likes.
I'll tell you. I did. I did like Burn Notice.
isn't bad.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
wasn't
hate
bad
it,
at all.
and
Not a
it
bad
has
show at all.
it has what's his name who plays Burn.
Jeffrey something.
Yes, and then it has
his name is
what's
Jeffrey
his name? Who play? I can't remember.
Bruce
Is it
Campbell.
Bruce Campbell. It
in
has Bruce fucking
Yeah.
Campbell, and he's always a
Yeah.
gem.
Burn Notice is the
Burn Notice of shows.
yes. There we go. That's all we need. That's all we need.
Thank you, Jeffrey
Jeffrey
Donovan.
Donovan.
Yeah, the
One
guy-
of the most
yeah.
gorgeous men in the world.
The guy from
I want him to play Turner.
Fargo.
I met him in college.
Did you?
The guy from
Yeah.
the first season of Fargo.
Yeah, I saw him at a
Oh.
theater festival. He was that good back then.
Was he a nice guy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he's good.
Was he a solid actor?
Yeah,
He's good.
yeah,
Yeah, he's in the
Yeah.
first season of Fargo.
yeah.
He's in this weird, well, not weird, but he's in this movie called Changeling. That was
That was
Oh,
the
yeah.
movie
Yeah.
that made
Yeah.
me wonder about him.
He's on.
But
he-
I had to read about it. Yeah, I had to read about
He was a bad guy in Hitch.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, yeah.
He was a
Yeah.
jerk
But
in
anyway,
the
this has
prison.
nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Turner and Hooch is coming back.
Yay!
As a series, details about the series are scarce, but it is believed to be keeping the premise of the original movie, which starred Tom Hanks and also revolves around a police detective and his dog. The TV series has been in the works for a while. It has been gathering momentum recently, and it's heating up for a green light. Reps for Disney Plus and 20th Century TV would not comment. The 1989 movie starred Hanks as Detective Scott Turner and Beasley the dog as Hooch. The large, slobbery dog he reluctantly takes in following the murder of his longtime friend and the dog's owner. The film, which co-starred Mary Winningham?
Mayor
Okay.
from St. Elmo's Fire.
Oh, okay. And Craig T. Nelson was a box office hit, grossing $71 million on a $13 million budget. It also became an enduring pop culture staple, getting frequent references in other movies and TV shows. Now, I don't agree with your enthusiasm for this at all.
Okay.
Because I don't think that like animal movies are very inherently interesting.
Agree.
Turner and Hooch is good
Yes.
because of Tom Hanks.
I would think that I agree with you. First of all, you're correct. Animal movies aren't that interesting. Not a big dog fan either.
Yeah.
Sorry. I know. I never had a pet, so
Oh.
I don't really respond to pets.
I agree.
Turner Hooch is a good movie, and I bet you they'll get the next Tom Hanks. They'll get a guy who's a TV guy like Tom Hanks started out, who's really
Colin Hanks?
charming.
Don't do that.
He's too big.
Don't do that.
Walton Goggins.
What? What are you? What?
I mean, who would not watch that show?
I would fucking watch
would
that
watch a Walton
show.
Goggins.
Walton Goggins is not the next Tom Hanks.
No,
he's
no,
not.
I'm not
No.
saying that, but I mean he would be
I would watch that.
fantastic in it.
But like the next young TV star, I think could make this a charming show.
I'm gonna say I don't think there will ever be another Tom Hanks. Anybody that comes close to him.
Well, it would be Tom Hanks light.
That's what
Yeah.
I mean. It's like
Tom
the
Hanks with
closest
half
thing
the calories.
is what's his face, the other Hanks,
Colin Hanks.
Colin Hanks.
I think they could probably find someone different.
Mm.
But just the nature of that, I'm like, oh, it all makes sense to me. It's all like, oh, you should reboot that. It's got a lot of love from people. Anyone can watch it, and Disney Plus, sure. Yeah.
So here's the premise. Turner gets some hoodlums mad at him when he's getting gas. So he goes home, and then they come over and they kill Hooch. So this is all about
Hooch is dead for the whole thing.
Yeah, this is all about
you're John Wick.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. This is Disney's John Wick.
This is Disney's John Wick. Yep.
You guys want to share with the class?
Yeah.
I was showing him Colin Hanks
Oh.
because Colin Hanks has a brother that's a rapper.
What?
Yeah.
Ooh,
I knew that. I saw that. That's in some random article.
His name
Like,
is
Tom
Chester
Hanks has a
Hanks.
son that's a rapper.
Yeah,
That's cool.
And he's real bad.
Oh wait,
no
Colin
play.
Hanks is not. I thought they were brothers.
What? Colin Hanks is his son.
Oh, that makes sense.
Did you think Colin Hanks and Tom Hanks were siblings until this moment?
Yes.
That is
Why would
insane.
I? What?
Oh my God.
Because Tom Hanks is in his 60s and Colin Hanks is in his like 30s.
Yeah, like my.
Papa
can't-
was a rolling
I just mean like that
stone.
happens.
You think
my oldest sister is in her mid 30s now, and my youngest
you
brother
think that
is
there's
just
a
turning like
30-year
11.
age gap between any siblings?
It's a possibility.
30 years?
Not just
It's a-
any,
it's a
but like
possibility.
But it's
they
also
could be hit. Like I just said, oldest sister,
Beyonce,
mid 30s,
youngest-
youngest brother
Beyonce.
Just turned 11.
it's also just like
Not even
commonly
11.
known.
Sisters.
10.
Yeah, something like that.
What's
That's not
Solange?
30 years.
No, Solange is like,
Close
Not
enough.
like a 3-year-old or something.
No,
like
it's
that.
not.
A 6-year-old.
That
Leave-
might be
leave
the
your
most
thoughts in the
of all the
comments.
amazing things you've said. That might be the most.
How
amazing
I
of it.
don't what like
It's kind of common knowledge, if you like are just kind of a follower of pop culture.
Colin Hanks only
Is-
42.
That's still
No,
wildly.
It's, not, it's wild. That's part of it, but the
That's
other
a little
thing,
less than I thought, but it's
the other thing
still
is just like it's
unlikely.
it's common knowledge. It's like been reported for years.
I didn't even know about Colin Hanks until like he was in that Amazon special where he like takes over his dad's drawing business or whatever, cartooning thing, and that's the first time I even knew who Colin Hanks was. And I was like, oh, that's Tom Hanks'
That's
brother.
right. You
You-
didn't
you-
see.
You guys are putting him through court now.
I'm
Let them in.
I'm,
Let them in.
I'm just so confused about your guys' reaction to thinking that
Okay.
it's only 20 years
I owe you an amends.
or
You'll get it
25 years. That's
I mean, I thought the gap
common.
was larger.
well. Now everybody knows Colin Hanks, Daddy's Tom.
Daddy's.
Mortal Kombat reboot is arriving in theaters earlier than expected. And this isn't really even like that interesting of a news, but I only brought it up because just to mention the fact that there is a Mortal Kombat reboot happening, because we didn't talk about this.
Live action?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fans of Mortal Kombat have reason to celebrate as the new movie will be here sooner than we previously expected. Warner Brothers recently did some shuffling with its schedule calendar or release calendar for 2020 and 2021, which resulted in some big shifts for major upcoming titles. One such title is the Mortal Kombat reboot, which is being produced by modern horror master James Wan. Now we have where the movie will be here in just over a year. According to several reports, Mortal Kombat is now set to arrive on January 15th, 2021, instead of March 15th or 5th, 2021. So it'll be here nearly 2 full months earlier, which is, who gives a fuck? But I just want to bring this up because we just never talked about the fact that there was a Mortal Kombat movie produced by James Wan.
Yeah.
And not only that, but it's done shooting. They've wrapped production on it.
What is his name? Josh Lawson. I found out because I was on his Instagram last night and he was posting that he just like wrapped or he's doing his last shoots for it. And I was like, there's a new Mortal Kombat movie? I'm super excited for it. I don't give a shit.
There's two things about this that I
those
find
people.
interesting. That they moved it from March to January. January is a pretty crappy month to put a movie out. And number two, the fact that it's live action. So I wonder who did the visual effects.
Some company that's out of business now.
Yeah.
And they pushed it forward. I don't know. They're like, yo, before you go out of business, real quick, we give you $45.
When was the first Mortal Kombat?
That's it.
That's
movie?
it.
19.
I think the first one came out in 1992.
God, I
Oh.
don't know.
Oh, no. 1994?
I'm going to go middle and say probably 1995. Any other guesses?
That's 98.
No, it's definitely not that old.
I don't think so.
You were right.
But there was no big star in it, though.
Well, I mean,
who
Christopher
played
Lambert
Raiden?
was in it.
Ooh, he good.
Raiden?
Christopher
What's his
Lambert.
fucking name?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I think that was pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah, there was,
the bald skull guy was... No, he wasn't.
no, he wasn't anybody.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Christopher Lambert was the only known
Okay.
person.
Okay. Oh no! Bridget Wilson was someone for a hot minute.
Bridget Wilson?
Yeah.
Wait,
Sonia?
who played glasses guy? I can't remember his name. Fuck, all the names just went out of my head for the characters.
Just Bridget Wilson and Lambert are the guys that are the people that I read.
Those are
Nobody in Mortal Kombat wears glasses.
yeah, like
Johnny Cage.
John,
You mean sunglasses.
sunglasses. I'm sorry, yeah, Johnny.
No,
Cage.
he wasn't anybody.
Oh, okay.
Originally, he was supposed to be played by. Oh no! I'm mixing up stories. Originally, Mortal Kombat started out as a Jean-Claude Van Damme fighting game.
That's okay.
And then at the last minute, Jean-Claude Van Damme pulled out his licensing, and so they turned it into Mortal Kombat, and then they made Johnny Cage as a parody of Jean-Claude Van Damme, which is why he's kind of like a arrogant, whiny.
That's what I thought.
movie star.
Okay, that's why I thought.
Then
that,
I
'cause
think
of the
Jean-Claude Van
story.
Damme went to Street Fighter.
Yeah. Well, he was in the movie.
He's in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Let's all just forget about the Street Fighter movie.
So yeah, that movie's coming out, and James Wan is producing it. So I kind of have some hopes for it because James Wan's great.
I don't know, man. The January release date tells me let's just throw it out.
That's right. I do think we talked about this, I think, a couple episodes ago, but I think more and more the beginning of the year is not as much of a dumping ground as it used to be. Like, I think that they've sort of started turning February into like a better month, like ever since like Deadpool came out and was super successful and stuff. But yeah, you're still right. Like January is still kind of like,
Let's just put it out there.
yeah.
Whatever we got.
Yeah, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to watch the Top Gun Maverick trailer and react to that. And we're going to watch the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot game trailer.
Kakarot!
And react to that. We'll be right back. All right. Let's watch this shit.
Okay.
Has anyone watched this yet?
Yeah.
No.
You watched? God damn it, Kurt.
I haven't even
I thought I
seen.
was gonna get a unanimous like go in cold.
I haven't even seen the original Top Gun.
Push you to the limit. Fucking
And
danger zone.
and the levee was dry, my man.
Can you see Lewis?
What?
When you press play, can you push it a little bit back so Lewis can see?
Lewis
it better?
doesn't need to see this.
Yeah, you push your
I really
Chevy
don't
to the
need to see
limit,
this.
and the levee was dry.
All right.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's better to hear it this way. Those Scientologist eyes.
It's reptilian.
Your instructor is one of the finest pilots this program has ever
sleep with him.
All these years later, what's his name? Who played Goose is just like, fuck. Why'd I die?
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards.
He's like, God damn it, why'd I have to die?
I mean, I haven't seen this yet, but I doubt Val Kilmer is in this, right?
No, Val Kilmer is in this.
He's in this?
Not in the trailer.
Oh,
He's in the movie though.
what?
That's why I would see this movie.
Oh,
Fucking
that
fucking what's his name?
mustache.
Miles Teller?
Miles Teller.
Miles Teller. He's the main character.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's Goose's son.
He's Goose's son.
Oh,
fucking.
Tom Hanks looks a little old, man. They got him on
Swallow.
this young.
John
old
Hamm is in
black
this
guy.
too.
John Hamm is in this.
Yeah, man. This is a real movie.
That's
This
what
is-
makes it a real
Yeah.
movie.
John Hamm makes all movies real.
Yeah.
Fact. Oh, I touched that bird.
You know why this movie's gonna suck?
Because they're not gonna fuck.
Because Tony Scott is dead.
Yeah, I wonder who's directing this. Why is there no
Oh.
Tim Robbins in this movie?
I mean, you tell us. You're his friend.
I'll
Yeah.
talk, that's right. I'll talk to him.
Tim, we know you're watching. Put it in the comments.
What?
Oh,
Jennifer
Demi
Connelly.
Jennifer
Moore?
Connelly's the love
God
interest.
damn it.
They just like one brief shot of Jennifer Connelly.
Ooh. Oh my God.
I'll watch it.
You know, to be honest with you, this gave me a sick, like, we're America and we have the biggest penis ever vibe.
That's
That's
what
what
Top Gun
was.
originally was. When Top Gun came out, they had recruiting stands in the theater.
Wow.
You would go into the theater, they'd come out and be like, "Hey, you want to get some information
do
about
that?
the services?" I was like, "No."
Yeah, this is what that gave me. I mean, I would still watch it, but this again goes back to my point of like, it feels like all these movies are the same.
Absolutely.
This looks like kind of like Top Gun from '86. I mean, and apparently it's the same, roughly the same story. I guess there's certain tropes that they hit. There's a volleyball match in this one as there was in that one. They sing in a bar like they did in the last one. So
Every army or military movie has a bar singing moment. Or a bar fight moment, or some dumb happening in a bar. And Miles Teller has a lot of abs, guys.
oh yeah, he has all the abs.
Oh man,
Yeah, he has all
that was
the abs.
amazing.
And that stash?
That stash though,
He still.
I wish he would stash
okay,
that stash.
here's the thing with the stash.
Doesn't look good.
He has a stash. Anthony Edwards had a stash. Just because you have a stash doesn't mean you have to have a stash like your dad did.
That's not how it works?
No.
That's definitely
That's
how
not
it works.
that's not how
it works.
stashes
Yeah,
work.
that's how it works.
Wait a minute, so I can grow a mustache just
My-
because my dad didn't have one?
Yeah.
My dad's not upset with me constantly because I don't have a mustache.
You're
I
not here
think-
for that.
Yes.
I will watch it. I think I was.
It's growing.
Look. Oh gosh.
Look.
Oh gosh.
You're halfway
He's
there.
Turning.
You look like Miles Teller.
You about to pass out.
Miles Teller.
And
Oh God.
he's
Yeah,
dead.
it's a wrap. Good for us.
R.I.P. Andrew and Goose.
Miles Teller
And we're
still
back.
looks 17
Yeah.
to me. I don't know if that fits. But yeah, I mean, I would stream this illegally.
God damn it.
God damn.
Just
it.
don't watch the movie.
You're gonna
No, I would
you're gonna
watch
make
it.
some VFX team go bankrupt because you don't pay for things.
They don't get anything from the box office.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
To them, it's like, yeah, we got our check, and then now I'm gonna go sign up for Wick.
Actually, you know what? I don't think you know what WIC is, but
I do. Women and children. You trying to say women can't be
you say women.
I'm sick.
Hashtag cancel Tyler, huh?
So everyone's on board for not liking this?
I'm not that far. I'm on board for saying it's not gonna be good, but
I think
I
it'll
think
be
I'm gonna
fine.
like
Cool.
it. I think I'm
I'll
gonna
watch
like
it.
it.
I
'cause
think
it's
it'll
not
be fine.
good.
Yeah.
It just kind
I
of gave me a
don't,
weird
I don't have too strong
sensation.
feelings about it.
Yeah.
My feeling is, and it's how I feel with Top Gun, because Top Gun's always on TV. And I'm like, oh, it's fucking Top Gun. Oh, I'll watch it for 15, 20 minutes. And then I feel like dirty watching it. I'm like, why do they suck me in? And this kind of did the same thing.
Just when I thought I was out.
They bring me back in. Let me in.
You don't like the first one?
When I think about it, I don't like it. But then if it's on TV, I'm like, okay, let me watch
That's
it.
fine.
yeah.
It's definitely like a my
Yeah.
mom movie.
Yeah.
It's not my
Yeah.
favorite.
And then I feel this way
Tony
about this
Scott, by far.
trailer. I go, oh, I'm not going to see it. And I'm like, oh, maybe I will see it.
When
I
it
would
replays
watch
on
it.
TV.
Yeah.
Blue, you would watch it?
I'll watch this.
I don't know if it gives you the same Rambo vibes, but
Nah, not,
It-
it's not
I-
like Rambo.
Definitely
Rambo is
less.
it's Top Gun.
yeah,
It's not the same.
Okay.
there's a really
most alone.
uncomfortable
Yeah,
scene in Top Gun that just has not aged well.
Which
Where he who's in Top Gun? Is it what's the actress?
Kelly McGillis.
Yeah, Kelly McGillis. He's at a bar and he's like kind of hitting on her, and then she's like not having it, and then she goes into the bathroom, and then he just follows her into the
Yeah.
bathroom, and he just keeps hitting on her.
Yeah.
It's just like it just feels really
Yeah.
creepy.
And it's supposed to be
it work?
charming.
It
Yeah.
worked though, eh?
There's a lot of shit.
Man.
It worked
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
movie
Back
written
then,
by
yeah.
a guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In
Yeah.
the 80s.
In the
Yeah,
80s.
that guy probably did that so he got his wife, eh?
Kelly's like, note to self.
Follow women in
Follow
their
it.
race.
In
Yo,
real
let's
life.
see, all the bathrooms is for everybody nowadays. So you mean?
See, that's what knew he was gonna fucking say that, and I was like, people aren't really afraid of people who need to use those
Oh, come on.
restrooms. going.
We're-
Yeah,
They're
Right.
afraid of Kelby.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, I would watch it. I would definitely watch it if somebody else could pay for it.
I'm on
Yeah.
that. I'm on that.
If
train.
if we want to do it as a business thing, we all go watch it. I'll definitely do a Rambo.
You name it a Maverick.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So there's a game coming out sometime next year, and it's an RPG version of Dragon Ball Z. It's called Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, and it's basically a role playing game, like an open world role playing game that tells the story of Goku from. I think it starts at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z and it goes to the end of Dragon Ball Z. So like the Raditz saga all the way through the Buu saga.
Nice.
And you play as Goku, and then you get to do all those different iconic things, battle and live your life
And
as
fall in
Goku and
love.
stuff. So that game is coming out,
Thank you, Todd. I needed that again. Oh my gosh.
and they just released this cinematic intro trailer. So I wanted to play this because you guys know about Dragon Ball Z, and you too, but you're not really into video games, or these kind of video games at least.
I played
I'm into
one.
video
I played one Dragon Ball Z.
You play sports games.
No, I played one Dragon Ball Z. game.
What,
Budokai?
Budokai Fighters?
Budokai, yeah.
Budokai
Definitely.
Budokai, everybody.
So I wanted you guys to watch it and react to it from a perspective of just seeing it as a game. And I wanted a couple people who just don't even know what Dragon Ball Z is to watch it and react. So Kirk, and also I'm going to get up and I'm going to go get Julia, and I want her to react to
Oh.
this instead of me. So I'm going to run out really quick and I'm going to grab Julia.
All right.
All right.
Mild language, suggestive themes. Fuck yes.
Is this the same music?
Yes.
Dig the music.
Why is the music so 80s?
It was the whole vibe.
Oh my gosh, those muscles.
I like the graphics.
Those muscles.
It's Miles Teller muscles.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. Woo.
Yeah, this song does slap.
Yeah.
You know who we don't see? Mr. Popo.
Mr. Popo. Kame House.
Feels wrong.
Is this for a new video game?
Yes.
Todd singing along. Oh, we need to put the camera on
I
Todd.
fucking love this so far. Fucking yes.
So, are some of these scenes actual playing, or are these all cutscenes?
I feel like it's got to be all cutscenes.
It's the intro to the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that part's cool.
Yes. Yeah,
think it
I'm
looks
into
dope.
it. I'm fucking into it.
It gives me fan made vibes.
What?
That a fan made this?
What are you talking
There's
That's
no
just
way a
like-
fan could make that.
What?
That's insane.
That's just how
That's
I felt.
like those are like cutting edge PlayStation 4 graphics.
So I
Yeah,
was
it looks
actually gonna
amazing.
say the animation doesn't look fresh.
It doesn't look very
What?
good to me.
I like it. I like
You
the
like it?
animation.
I think it looks good, but I don't
for a video game.
cutting
for,
edge.
for the video game.
I just that's not gonna be the video game. That's just
Wait,
like
so
the
it's not
same,
gonna-
it's the same thing they do with like I feel like it's got to be the
I
same
don't
thing they
know.
do with like Halo. Like they'll give you really cinematic, good looking scenes to watch, but then when you buy it, it's not like that. It doesn't
Nah,
look
I
like
think
that.
the
I
Dragon
think
Ball
that
Z
looks
games
very
usually
good.
have like that style of gameplay for the graphics. I don't know.
I guess I.
It might not look
stopped
as
pl-
sharp,
I guess I
but-
stopped playing when they got better, but I don't think it's gonna look like that.
I don't know.
I thought it looked good. I'll never play it or think of it again.
So it's open world,
But
like,
it looked
Yeah, I didn't
good.
see that part. I wanted to see that the RPG part.
Yeah.
It was just the intro. It didn't show any
right. This
gameplay.
isn't actual gameplay. Yeah, okay.
It's like I said, it's following like basically all of the main beats of Dragon Ball Z. So Raditz showing up and him having to fight him, and then Vegeta comes, and then with Nappa, and they defeat them, and then Frieza saga. Yeah, they go to Namek, and there's Frieza,
See Majin
and then
Buu
they
there.
come back, and then the Cell saga, and then it just goes through all those, and you basically play out those moments.
Yeah.
I'll play it.
Is Dragon Ball Z normally this frenetic?
Yeah.
Makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This looks like something that I could have watched 9 years ago.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I felt the exact
Wow.
same way.
I would
Yeah.
much rather just watch it. I would much rather just like watch whoever made that opening. Just continue the story, but better. Just continue it. That's all. Forget about.
So it's sort of like a quest game. You complete
It's an
missions.
RPG. It's like an open world RPG where you.
I feel like Andrew wanted us to be more happier about this. Like he's just like disappointed that we're not all behind it.
Todd's happy.
I don't. What it's PS2, PS4,
PS4. yeah, no, yeah, they're,
I
they're
don't-
coming out on PS2.
Like I don't have a.
it's an
place
open
to-
world
the
RPG game, so you're going through and there's the story element, and then you fight people and you gain levels, you gain experience points, and you get stronger. And
See, I'd rather they just Pokemon Go it. Like that would be better. Get some
I'll play it.
exercise into it.
I'll play it.
I would definitely play it. I would need to see more of the gameplay because that still doesn't like register to me. But as far as just what I looked at, it looked kind of cheap.
I don't get the cheap thing. I mean, I have no interest in this at all, but I don't get the cheap
yeah,
thing.
the graphics are cutting edge. Like they don't look realistic. Like you're thinking about like Call of Duty and like Gears of War and shit like that. But they're done in an anime style cell shaded graphics to look like a cartoon. That's why they look like that.
But
those graphics are very good.
I don't know a lot, and so I'm gonna sound dumb, I'm sure, but it looked like
No.
The one thing I do is like hard lines and borders on characters.
Cell shading.
Is I don't sure okay, but what I mean is like it looked like they were like running a background, and then they had these characters flying in front of it.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like they were immersed in that world.
Yeah, it's on purpose.
Okay, if that okay, then yeah, then they went, then they
make it look like the anime.
they got it right.
I'd say they got it right for something I don't know about.
Yeah, it looks fun. I mean,
Yeah.
And
looks
in
fun.
terms of that song, the song is from the original show, so it's like a real song from the 80s.
I do like the song.
song was the best part
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't
I
even
think
know-
Todd's reaction was the best part for me. I it's not gonna make me buy a PS4, and I'm not a huge fan, but I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball Z. I grew up on it, but it's not gonna make me go out and like I need to play this game.
So how does this Dragon Ball Z differ from OG Dragon Ball Z or what you grew up on as Dragon Ball Z?
This is a game. That was a TV show. I don't understand.
But how does it
It
differ?
it does it. It looks like it's exactly a replica of it.
Oh, okay. That's what
And
I was
isn't
asking.
that what you want?
No, I mean
I actually don't feel like it looks like that.
It totally does.
It
what?
doesn't.
What
This
Dragon
is
Ball
like-
Z were you watching?
This is like HD version of that.
It's a game.
You just remember it
know,
on a
but-
shitty 240p resolution.
They have to
you don't have to tell
recreate.
me my
They have to.
memories.
They have to recreate the look of a cartoon with computer animated graphics that you can control.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I just personally think it. Okay.
This is like martial arts having the will to pull back when you could have done every single thing different. Like it could be completely cinematic and crazy. What are you talking?
I don't know what you're expecting.
I kind of want to unpack that. It's like martial arts.
Like okay, so
No, don't
if
do
you
this.
if you seriously train in martial arts, you know how to put
when not to fight.
when not to fight,
Okay.
when not to put your full force behind a punch or something. Like, you know how to control it.
Yes.
And they did that here because they could have made it like a million times more cinematic and look better to like please people like Kelby. But really, it looks like the TV show. And I feel like that had to take restraint, not putting
I
all
can't
the
get what you're
stops
saying.
out.
I'm not
Pulling all
really
the
saying
stops.
I want it to look better because it looks fine. It's clear and crisp. It just looks old.
How?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say to that.
but
Like,
isn't
the
the
game
show-
has been like
the show is
universally,
old,
like applaud.
so you want it to look
celebrated
like
for
the
looking really
show.
good.
It doesn't. It does not look like the show.
It doesn't look like the
It
show.
does
no.
look like the show. It
It doesn't.
totally does.
I mean, that's me.
I don't know. I liked it.
The sky's
I think
green.
it was good.
That's me.
I mean, go look at a scene from the show. You'll see there's like more detail in it.
Because
In-
it's hand animated.
Okay, can we
yes,
go back?
I
we
understand.
Need to,
I just don't like it.
we need to go back to the part where they're flying through the city. That looks just like a city shot in the show, except brought to a 1080p resolution instead of back in the day when it was just like hand drawn, I guess.
Why is it important for you who want to convince Kelby to like it? Why is it important for you that he likes it, to convince him to like it?
I don't want him to like it. Whenever something is just blatantly true, I want people to acknowledge.
He wants Kelby to be on the side of the righteous.
Universally applauded doesn't equal true, though.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying like in a like gaming is like, even like we talk about these reboots all the time. We talk about like the toxicity of like, you know, people hating reboots or people like hating the Star Wars movies because there's like black people in it and stuff like that. But like gaming is a million times worse. Like they've got the most toxic fans you could possibly imagine. I mean, the whole toxicity was basically invented in gaming. Like Gamergate was the first thing where people started talking about toxic fandom, and it was about gaming.
That's true.
And of these incredibly scrutinous fanboys that hate everything if it's not exactly perfect, this game has been sort of like celebrated for how good it looks and how accurate it is. So I wasn't saying that objectively makes it right. I'm just saying, like, in a completely different realm of what you're saying now, like, everybody talks about how great this game looks.
Original animated series, is everyone that ripped?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fighting anime.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a shonen fighting anime.
They
It's
don't
all
even
about-
look like muscles. They just look like boulders, like pebbles and rocks on people's bodies.
I'm kind of with
That's
Andrew. I
how
think
they
you guys
look.
are tripping. I'm kind of with Andrew on this one. I
Yeah.
don't know, man. I think we're looking at two different things.
Can you play like a minute of it again? Just like 30 seconds, I guess. Sorry.
You're giving it a second look then.
I want to
Let's
see
see
it
it again.
again.
Let's see it again. Yeah.
I want to hear that song again.
That looks dope, boy.
It
Yeah,
looks
look
so
at his hair.
good.
Look at that hair
You
move.
tripping, man.
All right. That looks
Oh,
good.
is that-
That looks good.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's the
okay.
show.
That's the show right there.
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of Mario Kart.
Yeah. All right. I've seen enough. Thank you. Yeah.
I
I think that looks like PS3 graphics, but that's
Honestly,
PS3?
I think these graphics look better than the TV show.
yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
do.
I don't know.
They're computer animated, so I fucking hope so.
It does look like this whole world was created. It looks like you are transported into a fantastical world. Like when I was watching it, I felt like, yeah, if I was playing this, I'd probably feel as if I were actually in a different world.
But if you play this, you only want the music playing.
Yeah,
The
I
entire
mean,
time.
yeah, I just wanted to loop.
I'm assuming there's some fucking more bangers like that. I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna show you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, here we
Bop.
go.
No.
If you like that song,
Oh, I
this
gotta
is
take the
this is
headphones
the
off.
shit. So there's like different versions of the theme song. There's like the one that in the original Dragon Ball, whenever Goku was a kid, when it aired on Toonami, it had an American version of the Japanese theme song. But whenever they released Dragon Ball on home video back in '95, it had this like wholly original intro song that was created by the same guy who did like the Power Rangers song and like the Inspector Gadget song, and this is it. This is the one I remember because I used to rent these on video.
Long ago, 7 Dragonballs were forged and scattered over the face of the planet. Once united, the Eternal Dragon will be called forth to grant the discoverer a single wish.
So this is the intro to the whole world.
Yeah.
Okay, this is beautiful. These are watercolors.
I like this animation.
What was that line?
The greatest test of all is to find that 7th ball.
That's a horrible lyric. Come on.
Here we go. Here we go. Here's the breakdown.
Yeah. I mean,
You won't
my
believe the
God.
magic in those 7 balls.
Wow, I loved all of that.
I think only you will understand this. It sounds like a song from Loverboy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's what all these theme songs in like the 80s and 90s, they were just making like rock pop songs. That's just what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
I'm happy with both of the things we saw just now.
All right. Thank you, Julia, for
Well done.
So we got it. Watercolors make a difference. Got it.
Just so you know.
All right, last couple stories to get through before we're done. Just blow through them. So really quick, there's 2 new Star Trek films officially in development. Which was, while speaking to investors at the UBS Global Technology, Media, and Telecommunications Conference, Viacom CBS CEO Bob Bakish said that 2 new Star Trek movies are officially in development. The news may come as a bit of surprise to Star Trek fans, especially after the series' history of diminishing returns at the box office. Earlier this year, it seemed as though Star Trek 4 was still far away from production and had some big hurdles to overcome. So basically, like, they did 3 Star Trek movies, 3 of the reboot movies with Chris Pine, and the last one they did was Star Trek Beyond. The first Star Trek did really well. The second one, not as well, and it wasn't as critically accepted, and it sucked. And then and Star Trek Beyond was great, but it made no money, and they kind of just canceled the franchise. They were just kind of like, They made the show Star Trek Discovery, and they just kind of like the film franchise just kind of like winked out of existence. And there's been all this talk about it for a while, but it just seemed like they weren't going to do anything. And then now suddenly they're making 2 more movies
With Chris Pine?
ostensibly it's in the same universe. But the interesting thing is, simultaneously to this, for the past several months, people have been reporting and people have been talking about the fact that Quentin Tarantino is trying to do a Star Trek movie. So the one of the movies in production could be his Star Trek movie.
I'm pretty sure we heard this morning that he dropped out.
I thought I heard that too, that he dropped out.
Yeah, he dropped
Well,
out.
I don't know if maybe that's something different or something new that just came out. But what basically happened that I know of at least is he's been talking about it for a long time. And then in a recent interview, he said, like, I might not be doing it. And that's the last I heard. It wasn't an official confirmation.
Going to something else for his last film.
Yeah, but he was basically trying to do a hard R Star Trek movie. Basically, he literally described it himself as a Pulp Fiction in space.
Well, that I would see.
I wouldn't.
I would.
I would definitely.
I would definitely see that.
150 million%.
That being said, there's so much Star Trek. I just am overwhelmed with how much there's always Star Trek.
Star Trek or
yeah, but
Star Wars?
Star
Star
Trek.
Trek.
Star Trek is
There's always so many spin-offs and offshoots that I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah, but it's different though. It's different than Star Wars. Like Star Wars, I get that you can be oversaturated by it. Like personally, I'm not yet. Like I want to see the movies and I want to see The Mandalorian, all this stuff like that. And like I can't imagine, as long as they keep making good stuff, I can't imagine getting tired of it. But I understand the viewpoint of like getting oversaturated with it. But Star Trek is like a little different because Star Trek is such a like you don't need to consume all of it. You can choose your level of what you want to watch because everything is like connected, but it's all just kind of like you can just watch the ones you want to watch. There's a Wile E. Coyote live action movie coming. Looney Tunes Wile E. Coyote movie titled Coyote vs. Acme now has Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows director Dave Green signing on to lead the charge. Last year, it was reported that Warner Brothers was developing a film focused on Wile E. Coyote, and it will be a story set around the Coyote and the fictional Acme Company, as the company itself ended up becoming a big rival for the character due to him purchasing traps from them to capture his nemesis, the Roadrunner. So yeah, they're apparently making a live-action Wile E. Coyote movie.
Another CGI company that gets put out of business.
Yeah,
I
I
just
just
say this sounds like.
I like that it's just gonna be
Somebody's not getting their kids Christmas presents that year.
It's gonna be all reading. Like I love that. That's gonna be great.
This guy.
It's all signs. It's just gonna be.
This what you count as reading?
I don't do any other reading, so
That's,
yeah. I'm gonna
that's
count
how
the
Tyler
little I
learned
do,
to
yeah.
talk. I know, and really quickly, I just a little interesting factoid about Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. Whenever Chuck Jones created Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, originally it was supposed to be a parody of chase cartoons. So he was making fun of Tom and Jerry, basically. And so Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner was like an over-the-top version of chase cartoons, and it was purposely ridiculous. So we think back on it, and we think like, oh, that's just what that was. But at the time, he was trying to make an over-the-top satire and basically make a statement about how ridiculous chase cartoons were, because he liked cartoons that had more joke-telling and substance to them. But it became wildly popular, and it completely had the opposite reaction that he thought it was going to. And then it ended up becoming this huge thing that was like popular for exactly the reason that he kind of made it, to make fun of those. So that's just I just always found that interesting.
That is interesting.
Fuck Purple Rain.
Oh yeah, I've been waiting for this one.
Kevin Smith's groundbreaking debut film Clerks has been added to the Library of Congress National Film Registry. Clerks is one of the most successful indie films of the 1990s and the movie that jump-started Kevin Smith's film career. The 1994 movie, based on New Jersey native Smith's former life working as a clerk at a convenience store in Monmouth County, received the most votes from the public in this year's National Film Registry balloting. The Library of Congress announced on Wednesday. Clerks will be added to the registry alongside 24 other classics like Prince's Purple Rain, Spike Lee's She's Gotta Have It, and Disney's Sleeping Beauty.
Wait, why you say that about Purple Rain?
That was a joke. Because last
For real
episode,
about to fight you.
last episode we
Clerks is
talked about
great.
Purple Rain, and I was just
But Clerks is great. Well deserved.
I usually end on a weird story, and this is like not super weird, but to me it's very weird.
It's a little weird.
So it was on the Red Hot Chili Peppers social media. They just announced a few days ago that guitarist John Frusciante is rejoining the band, and it's so funny to me because, first of all, I hate the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Nah, I'm good with them.
I don't like them. I never have.
Yeah.
They are one of those bands to me that is like in the pantheon of like bands that are really popular and people really like them that I just don't see the appeal of. But
You can point at me.
John Frusciante is a fucking amazing guitarist, and he has solo music, and it's great. I love John Frusciante, and he has several really solid albums. But it's funny to me because he joined the band back in, I forget the year, but he joined the band.
It's like late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, when their original guitarist died.
And he was just a fan.
Yeah, and he was the guitarist on some of their most iconic albums that we know about. Like, there's the early kind of Chili Pepper stuff, and then the stuff that we really know about, like Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic, which has Under the Bridge on it, and Californication.
Great
That's the stuff that's like their big breakout stuff, and he was on those albums. But back in, let's see, it was 1988. He joined in 1988.
Yeah.
They recorded those albums that I mentioned: Mother's Milk, Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic, and then Frusciante fell into a deep heroin addiction, and he left the band. But then he rejoined the band 6 years later in 1999. They recorded Californication, 2002's By the Way, and 2006's Stadium Arcadium, and then he left the band again in 2009. And then
different drug or what?
no, just
No,
like
he just wanted to be on his own.
Yeah.
Do his own thing.
so he's
better
left.
music.
This is the third time that he has rejoined the band.
Yeah.
And it's like, it seems like they're just doomed to play out this Sisyphusian theatrical play where he joins the band, he plays with them for a little while, he gets tired of being in this huge mainstream rock band and he wants to leave and do something more indie. He leaves and then inevitably comes back.
And they're always like, yeah, come on back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's helped them make
In
some of the
debt.
biggest stuff. So
He's
of course
great.
They would
Their
always,
He's a
their
fucking
biggest
great
their
guitarist.
biggest stuff is with him.
yeah,
He's
so
one
of
of
course
the
they would.
greatest guitarists in like modern history.
Yeah, so
And to
he
me,
can
it's
come
like,
play with me in
oh,
my band too.
yeah. To me, it's like, oh, John Frusciante is wasting his time being in this shitty band when he could be making
No.
his own stuff.
Chili Peppers are better than the Beatles.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I like them, but they're basically just adult people ska.
Scuba doo bop, I'm in California. Oh, oh, oh. Just did a Chili Pepper song.
Well, you did the background singing for the Chili Pepper song because you couldn't do lead.
First of all, aside from the fight aside from this long-standing feud, Anthony Kiedis is not a good singer.
Oh, agree. No, I agree. Flea is an amazing bassist.
Yes, Flea is great.
And I met him in a veggie restaurant once, and he was delightful.
Nice. Yeah, he seems like a super nice
He's
guy.
super nice guy.
He's also a great trumpet player.
I did not know
yeah,
that.
he played the trumpet on the Mars Volta's D-Louse in the Comatorium album.
Had no
no,
idea.
not in that one. He played it on Francis the Mute.
Interesting.
Or maybe both. He might have done it on both.
They make good songs for a cappella bands to redo. Because Straight No Chaser does a great Under the
I
Bridge.
hate a cappella bands.
I
hate
care.
white people ruining things on YouTube.
Wow.
They've been doing it before YouTube. I'll tell you that.
Wow.
I remember
highly suggest Straight No
Kelby,
Chaser.
one time we were sitting in our house and Tyler was like, "You guys got to see this." And he played this a cappella band singing Hamilton songs. And I was like, "This fucking sucks."
You're wrong.
Just a bunch of white people wearing
fantastic-
leather
It
singing shit
You're
that they have no business singing.
very wrong.
I ain't mad at you.
You guys know what I'm talking about.
Somehow I'm gonna get canceled for that.
You are gonna cancel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lewis said it. It's all right.
But it's funny because it's similar
I voted for
to.
Obama twice.
There's another band that has a similar dynamic. So Limp Bizkit, they have a guitar player named Wes Borland, and he's the guy. Like if you remember back in the day, Limp Bizkit when they'd play or whatever, like everybody else was just wearing like sweat track pants and t-shirts and backwards caps, and then like Wes Borland was dressed like a fucking space demon. He had like the white contact lenses, and he'd paint his entire body black with like white stripes, and he'd be wearing this weird feather thing and all this stuff. And he was just this weird. He would just dress in these crazy costumes. It wasn't blackface.
I don't care.
The face wasn't black. It was the rest of his
zebra
body.
face.
That sounds cool.
And so, sometime in like the early 2000s, after their big wave of being super popular, he quit the band, and he was basically like, "I hate this music. I only joined because they asked me to, and I just hate this music." And so he started his own band called Big Dumb Face. They only had one album, and it's amazing, and I love it. And I have it. I had the CD. I listened to it a lot. It's like experimental avant-garde death metal. It's like genuinely one of my favorite albums.
You gonna listen to it a little?
So I'm gonna pass on that.
You like the
don't
big
pass
dumb
that.
face's body?
Yes. Shut up.
All right.
Uh,
Well, that's what's up, man.
and,
You got it down.
and so, but then whenever he ran out of money, he's like, "Oh, yeah, let's get back together. I'm gonna be in the Limp Bizkit again." So he rejoins the band. They put out an album. Inevitably, he's like, "Fuck this. This music sucks." He quits. He started a band called Eat the World. I didn't really listen to them, but they did some other music. And then, yeah, how about I join the band again? Let's do it. Let's go on tour. And it's just like, it's the same thing where it's like they don't like the band. They don't like the music, but they like the money. And so they're doomed to play out this cycle over and over again. And I just find it fascinating.
You got to put that money in Bitcoin.
And you have to question what you would do in that situation, because there was just a New York Times just put out a mini documentary, which I would highly recommend you watch it. It's so good. I watched it last night. I have no interest in the Black Eyed Peas. I never liked them. I always thought they sucked. But this documentary is so good. And it's about the fact that there was an original vocalist for the Black Eyed Peas, and she was with them back in the early days when they kind of had more of like a De La Soul kind of vibe.
They were great back then.
And then that when they started getting bigger, the record labels, the managers wanted her to become more sexualized. And they wanted her wearing like tight clothes and like grinding on the guys and stuff like that. And so she ultimately decided to quit. And then they immediately got Fergie, and then they immediately became the Black Eyed Peas. Like months after she quit, she was just seeing them everywhere. And it was about her kind of coping with that and kind of telling the story of it. And like she held to her guns. Like she didn't like the way that the band was going. She didn't like what she had to do and how it made her feel. So she quit, and she stuck to it. And like, obviously she probably has a little bit of regret in somewhere back in the back of her mind. But to me, it came off to me like she's happy in her life and she's happy with the decision that she made, and she has a family and she has kids and she is happy with that. And people like Kelby are gonna judge her and be like, "Oh, you're just saying that because you're trying to."
I think what she's saying is great. I laughed because I got a picture of her in my head, like working at Ross or something. Like, yeah, I was in a Black Eyed Peas, but you know, he's these go backs.
But that's what I'm talking about, though.
I don't
exactly what
people are gonna-
I don't literally
I
just did the
I
thing
don't
he said
judge
you were
her
going
for
to
that.
do.
I'm not saying
It was
like,
funny.
oh, you must be like.
People are gonna-
I just think like I just had the image in my head, but I don't care that she stuck to her guns. Like, good for you. Like, you did what's right for you.
People are gonna mock her because we as a society are so obsessed with celebrity. And if you almost get celebrity, or if you get it and then you lose it, or you never quite get it, then you're thought of as like lesser.
I
Like,
don't think that at
like
all.
we have no level of celebrity yet.
Oh,
So nobody judges us for that. Nobody's
Right.
like, you're not a fucking celebrity, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
But if we became celebrities and then lost it, people would be like, you are a piece of shit. Like you just like, once you get intermingled with that, like you are judged for it for the rest of your life. So this girl has this stigma of like, I was almost Fergie.
Oh, she looks awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has this stigma of like, I was almost Fergie.
Kelby.
And so people
I
think
I
of,
had a different thought in my
Yeah.
head.
Yeah, of course you did. That's
The wrong
exactly what
thought.
he was getting
No,
at.
no, it's not, because just based off of what you said the music was, I thought differently of how she was going to look. So when you said that about like they switched out Fergie, I thought in my head like, oh, they just replaced like a really talented girl.
no,
with,
she could have been Fergie. She just
maybe
didn't
not.
want to.
Yeah.
She
yeah,
didn't.
so that's what I had in my head. Now that I see her, she clearly like beyond what I was thinking is like, yeah, that's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
So she's gonna, and I'm not saying that you're this way, but there's gonna be a stigma for her of like, oh, you almost were Fergie and you're not, so you're just jealous and bitter or whatever. And I kind of, not that, but I went into it thinking that it was gonna be her trying to justify how she is fine with it, and kind of secretly you're like, yeah, but you kind of regret it, because I think that a lot of celebrities do that. When you hear them, that you definitely hear that tinge of regret of like, I wish I had done it this way. But watching the documentary, it was transformative. Like she made a decision, she stuck with it, and she is happier because of it. We as a society just need to understand and cope with the idea that like being famous is just not a be-all end-all. Like in some cases, it's actually worse. There are so many people who are super famous and they're really unhappy because it's a fucked up life. And you know, she chose like herself and her family over that, and I think that's great. I think it's
And
super
her art.
admirable. And if you watch the documentary, like she's just so charismatic and so great, and like you just feel so happy for her. I can't even explain it. I would highly recommend watching it.
Much respect, but I don't want to correct you. But when I get home, my girlfriend greets me with "You're not famous yet, you piece of shit." So I want you to correct yourself next weekend.
Okay, I'll
Next
do the
week.
corrections. All right, thank you for listening. If you like this and you're not already, think about subscribing. If you are subscribed and you like it and you think you have a friend that might be interested, share it with them. If you want to follow more news about the podcast as well as some of the other cool nostalgia content we do in general, you can follow our Facebook page, Nostalgia, or our Instagram page, @Nostalgia. You can join our Facebook group to find out more news about the page and the podcast. It's the Nostalgia Facebook group, if you search for that on groups. And if you like the show and you're subscribed and you follow us on Facebook and you follow us on Instagram and all these things, and you want to support us in a further, maybe more monetary way, you can become a fan on our Facebook page. If you go to our Facebook page, the Nostalgia Facebook page, and you go to the top, there's a button that says Become a Supporter. For $4.99 a month, you get access to additional bonus content, cool stuff that is only available to fans, and you support the show. Thank you for listening.
So long.